welcome to my channel, and today I am going to be doing my September book haul. Now this month I bought quite a few books. I think it's fair to say I went book mad, but hopefully this will be the last time I do this, because in October I am going to buy no books. I know it sounds hard, but I'm hopefully going to stick to it, just because October 31st, aka Halloween, is also my birthday, and I have asked everyone to buy me books from my book depository wish list. So hopefully I will be getting lots of books, I just won't be paying for them. However, in October I have pre-ordered 2 books, Replica and The Christmasaurus. So those books I will be getting, but technically I have already paid for them. But anyway, enough about that. I'm going to get on with the books I bought this month. Now as usual, I'm going to split them into different categories. I've got the books I brought from Waterstones, the books I got from Book Depository, the books I got from Oxfam, my local charity shop, and then I've got the books that I pre-ordered. So let's get going. Now the first 2 books that I bought this month are both from Waterstones. They're books that I wasn't originally going to get. I just walked into Waterstones, saw them and thought, hey, they seem pretty cool, let's give them a go. The first book I got was The Scarlet Gospels by Clive Barker. Now, I'm not too sure what this is about. It just sounded interesting, seems a bit like a horror crime. I'll just quickly give the blurb a quick read to you. The last of Earth's magicians are living in fear. A Cenobite hell priest known as Pinhead is killing them off, gorging on their knowledge to enhance his own magical powers as part of a quest to take over hell. Meanwhile, private investigator Harry Diamore is fulfilling those final wishes of the dead, who communicate with his business associate, the blind medium Norma Payne. But while investigating one such case, Harry inadvertently opens up a portal between hell and earth. I think this is part of a series. I'm hoping this is the first book in the series. It sounds like it might be, but I'm thinking this is the perfect read for October, Halloween. I'm definitely going to give this a go next month. The next book I got was Fellside by M.R. Carey. I was a big fan of The Girl with All the Gifts, and I had no idea the author had another book out until I walked into Waterstones and saw this. This drew me in quite a few ways. The main one obviously being the same author as The Girl with All the Gifts, which by the way the film comes out, I think is it next month or the end of September, I'm not too sure. Give it a go, the book is so good and I hope the film will be good as well. But this one, according to the blurb, set in a prison in the Yorkshire Moors. Now I live in Yorkshire, so that's one good way to pull me in. I love a good book that's set where I live, because Yorkshire, it's not that famous book-wise, normally London or big cities, but Yorkshire, it sounds so good. And at the same time, it sounds like it's again a perfect October read. I will read you the blurb again. You will find Fellside somewhere on the edge of the Yorkshire Moors. It is not the kind of place you'd want to end up, but it's where Jess Molson could be spending the rest of her life. It's a place where even the walls whisper, and one voice belongs to a little boy with a message for Jess. Fellside will be the death of you if it doesn't save you. Now from what I can understand, I think Fellside is a prison, but I'm not too sure. But it definitely sounds really cool. Sorry, I'm just reading the blurb again. But yeah, I'm going to give this a go. I like how his books, you've got The Girl with All the Gifts and it's just yellow, and this one's just blue. But yeah, I'm going to give this a go. I can't wait. Now, the next 3 books I got were all books I got from Oxfam, my local charity shop. Now, with Oxfam, it's kind of hit and miss. Sometimes there's books there that you want and other times there's none. I think last month I only got 1 book from Oxfam. This month I went in and there seemed to be every single book there I wanted. Me, I only got the ones in good condition, because I probably know from previous videos I don't like tatty books really. I like to make them tatty, I don't like anyone else to make them tatty. But anyway, these are the books I got from Oxfam, all £1.99 by the way, which is pretty good for such good books. Now the first book I got was All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. I can't pronounce that name, sorry. Now I've heard a lot of good things about this on BookTube. Apparently if you're a fan of the Book Thieves like I am, you're going to love it. And I believe it follows a father and daughter who's running away from Nazis. I think that's it. Well, Hitler Youth is mentioned, so I'm guessing it's Nazis. So I think I'm going to like this. I love a good historical novel, especially if it's set in Nazi time. I can't wait to give this a read, and again, such a pretty cover. The next book I got was The Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I hope I pronounced this right. Now this has been a book I've been looking for ages. Ever since I started watching BookTube earlier this year, someone mentioned this book and I just loved the idea of it. And I've been looking for it and I couldn't find it. It was on my book depository wish list, but when I went into Oxfam it was just sat there, and it is in such good condition as well. The only bad thing is this bit here, you can't really see, but even the spine, I don't think this book has ever been read, which makes me shocked, because why send a book to a charity shop if you haven't read it? It just sounds so good. I believe it's about a guy where a book is kind of following his life. It's kind of hard to explain, but when the booktuber I saw explained it, it was really good. I'm just doing a crap job, but I cannot wait to read this. Final book I got was The Queen of the Tailing by Erica Johansson. Now, this book has been on my mind for a while. When it first came out on Goodreads, there were a few mixed reviews saying it was rubbish, but then there's a rumour that it's already going to be made into a film for Emma Watson, so that made me want to read it. But I was never going to really pay a full price for it, but at Oxfam they had this one for £1.99 and also the hardback edition. But the hardback edition was a bit tatty, so I thought stick to the paperback. So I'm going to give this a go. Hopefully it's good, and if it is, I will carry on reading the series. Now this month I only bought 2 books on Book Depository, and those 2 books are books I've wanted for a while. The first book is The Hangman's Daughter by Oliver Poch. What is it with authors who I can't pronounce the name? It's just annoying me. But this is a book I've wanted for years. Ever since I joined Goodreads in 2012, I think it was, I was going through recommendations for historical fiction. This came up and I loved the idea of it. Basically, I love anything to do with witches or witch trials. When I was at uni, I did my dissertation on Pendle witch trials, which is one that happened in England. So reading about ones from other countries in Europe is quite interesting. This one's set in Germany. I have already read it. I read it as soon as it came and it was amazing. Not what I thought, but I might do a little review on it. I'm not going to go into it now. I might go into it during my September wrap up. I'm thinking of giving it its own video just because it was so good and it's one of the books that I wanted for ages, so it kind of deserves its own video. The final book I got from Book Depository was Spectacles by Sue Perkins. Now anyone who knows me, or at least follows me on Tumblr, knows that I am a huge fan of the Great British Bake Off. And Sue Perkins is kind of my girl crush. I just think she's amazing, and Great British Bake Off will not be the same without her and Mel. But Spectacles is her biography, well, autobiography actually. And seeing as I like her so much, I thought I'd give it a go. I've only read a few autobiographies, and for me to get into an autobiography, it has to be someone I love. When I was younger, I read Russell Brand's, but I didn't quite get into it. And then I read David Mitchell's, the comedian, who I also love. Then I read McFly's, the band, and then Miranda Hart, another comedian. So I suppose there is a theme. I read comedian autobiographies, but I do want to get more into non-fiction, and I think Sue Perkins, seeing as I'm a huge fan of her anyway, will definitely get me into it. Also, I kept seeing the paperback edition in Waterstones, but I just really have a thing for hardbacks at the moment, so I ordered the hardback of Book Depository. There was also another book I got from Oxfam, which I totally forgot about until I just saw it behind me, and that was The Gallows Curse by Karen Maitland. Now, this is a book that I've never heard of before, but I saw it in the crime section and couldn't leave the shop without picking it up. It just kept me thinking. It's basically about a curse during the reign of King John, and I believe it's set around, obviously, witch trials again. I have a thing about witch trials, so I'm going to give this a go. It's part of a series. I think this is the first one. On the back there's the Company of Liars and the Owl Killers. One's a novel of plague, the other is a novel of the Dark Ages. Oh no, this came after the Company of Liars because it says there. So hopefully I will understand it. Maybe I should just go buy the first book. But hopefully I'll give this a go. It's a big chunky book. The last 3 books are all books that I pre-ordered. 2 of them I pre-ordered from Book Depository, the other one I pre-ordered from Waterstones and picked it up on the day of release. I think I might do this in publication order. So the first book was Who Killed Piotr Barol by Richard Mason. Now this kind of got my attention on Goodreads, I think it was. The cover at one, it just kind of grabbed my attention, and it sounds like it's going to be quite weird. I think someone goes missing and someone is looking for this weird herb or tree. Yeah, it's hard to explain, but I'm going to give this a read. This came out at the beginning of September. The next book I pre-ordered is The Wonder by Emma Donoghue. Now, I saw this on BookTube. I think someone got an advance copy of it, and it basically follows a nurse who goes to look after a girl who is somehow starving herself but staying alive. I have read it and it is pretty good. It's a good way of mixing your history and religion and seeing those people who are like no longer believing in God. Because it's set in Ireland where they're all very godly people. And the nurse who goes is a lady who trained under the famous Florence Nightingale, and she's not very into that sort of stuff, so she's obviously sceptical. It's just really good. It leaves you thinking a lot. I think again I will go into it in more detail in my September wrap-up, but it's definitely worth a pick up. And the final book came on Saturday, the 24th of September, so it came a few days before publication day. I haven't read it yet. Today is Tuesday the 27th of September, and I'm going to start reading it today. And that's Crooked Kingdom by Lee Bardugo, and I'm so happy. Seriously, if someone finishes before me and they spoil it, I will get very angry. So yeah, don't spoil it. Tumblr, I'm looking at you. But seriously, I'm so excited. It's a bit of a chunky one. I think it's 500 pages. The only thing that annoys me is that the spines don't match. Six of Crows, where are you? There, red. This one white. I don't like it. And also, red pages. I hope the red signifies something, because I do like my books to be matching. But I just can't wait. It's going to be so good. Well, it better be so good. And I can't wait to start reading it today. I can't wait. But yeah, those were all the books I brought this month. Like I said, in October my book pile might be a little lower, just because I'm not wanting to buy much. Also, my next October book haul may be a bit later, just because on 31st of October, aka my birthday, aka Halloween, aka the best day ever, I am going down to London for the week, so it may come a bit later. Or I may do an October book haul before then, and then do my birthday book haul after. I'm going to decide what to do. But yeah, that's my October book haul. If you have read any of the books I've mentioned, just comment down below. And there's also my Twitter, Goodreads, Instagram and Tumblr to all follow. There's so many, I can't remember them. But yeah, just comment down below, follow me on any of those, and we'll have a good chat about books.